Good morning. Welcome to the current affairs class. The first topic is on biotechnology on health, especially about the genomic sequencing. The Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, recently said that the exercise to sequence 10,000 Indian human genomes and create a database under the center-backed Genome India project is about two-thirds complete. So, Government of India, the Department of Biotechnology has launched a database under the Genome India project. Fine. And about two-thirds completed. The project has been completed two-thirds. About 7,000 Indian genome have already been sequenced, of which 3,000 are available for public access by researchers. Okay. So this is purely an Indian initiative called the Genome India project. The proponents of the project say it could enable researchers anywhere in the world to learn about genetic variants unique to Indian population. Countries including the United Kingdom, China and United States have launched similar programs to sequence at least 1 lakh of their population's genomes. And India has a target in the fastest to sequence the genomic map of 10,000 Indians. Out of the 10,000 Indians, 7,000 Indian genome has been sequenced, and out of that 3,000 genome map is publicly available right now for reference around the world. What is genome sequencing? The human genome is the entire set of deoxyribonucleic acid DNA sequencing that is residing in the nucleus of every cell of each human body. It carries the complete genetic information responsible for the development and functioning of the organism of a particular individual. The DNA consists of a bundle of stranded molecules built up by four bases, namely adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, ACGT. Every base on one strand pair with a complementary base on the other strand, A with T, C with G. In all, the genome is made up of approximately 3.05 billion such base pairs. See such complex mechanism. While the sequence or the order of the base pair is identical in all humans compared to that of mouse or another species, there are differences in the genome of every human being that makes them unique. Because the genome map of each and every individual is different. Okay, so the genome sequencing of each and every individual is different. Although they seems generally same, but in DNA, the genome sequencing, everyone is different. That is why DNA testing is everyone's DNA is unique. There is uniqueness in everyone's DNA. Okay, while the sequence or the order of the base pair is identical in all humans compared to that of a mouse or another species, there are differences in the genome of every human being that makes them unique. The process of deciphering the order of base pair to decode the genetic fingerprint of a human is called the genome sequencing. What is genome sequencing? The process of deciphering the order of base pairs to decode the genetic fingerprints of a human is called genome sequencing. In 1990, a group of scientists began a work on determining the whole sequence of the human genome under the Human Genome Project. The first result of the complete human genome sequence are given in 2003. However, some percentage of the repetitive part were yet to be sequenced. Okay, the first initiative was taken in 1990, and by 2000, okay, three, the result was published. The Human Genome Project released the last version of the complete human genome in 2023 with 0.3 error margin. Okay, this is a global initiative. Cost of the sequencing differ based on the method employed or the accuracy expected. Since the initiative rough draft of the human genome was made available company have aimed to reduce the cost of the generating a fairly accurate draft of an individual genome. It is now fallen to a tenth from $1,000 to less than 70,000 rupees. Okay. So it was around, okay. So 70,000 initially, it has been reduced one tenth to 70,000 only. Genomic sequencing has now evolved to a stage where large sequencers can process thousands of samples simultaneously. These are several approaches to genomic sequencing, including whole genome sequencing or next generation sequencing, that have different advantages. The process of whole genome sequencing, made possible by the Human Genome Project, now facilitates the reading of a person's individual genome to identify differences from the average human genome. Okay. These differences or mutations can tell us about each human's susceptibility or future vulnerability to a disease, their reaction or sensitivity to a particular stimulus, and so on. Where are the applications of genome sequencing? Genome sequencing has been used to evaluate rare disorders, preconditions for disorders, even cancers from viewpoint of genetics, rather than as disease of certain organisms. Nearly 10,000 diseases, including cyclic fibrosis and thalassemia, are known to be the result of a single gene malfunctioning. And if the sequencing is made proper, so this cure to these diseases can be found in future. In the past decade, it has also been used as a tool for preferential screening to investigate whether the fetus has genetic disorder or anomalies. The Nobel Prize winning technology CRISPR, which relies on sequencing, may potentially allow scientists to repair disease causing mutations in human genomes. Liquid biopsies, where a small amount of blood examined for DNA markers, could help diagnose cancer long before symptoms appear. So, that is what through genomic sequencing. In public health, however, sequencing has been used to read the modes of virus. So, because we came to know about the genome sequencing during the recent COVID pandemic, Corona pandemic. Okay, so government through this ICMR conducted the genome sequencing of the virus, and accordingly, treatment was designed. One of the first practical use was in 2014 when a group of scientists from the MIT and Harvard sequenced sample of Ebola from infected African patients to show how genomic data of virus could reveal hidden pathway of transmission, which might then be halted, thus slowing or even preventing the infection spread. Experts say that as sequencing gets cheaper, every human genome may feasibly be sequenced as part of routine healthcare in the future to better understand personal molecular biology and health. At the population level as well, genomics has several benefits. Advanced analytics and AI and by the applied to essential datasets created by collecting genomic profiles across the population, allowing to develop greater understanding of causative factors and potential treatments of disease. This could be especially relevant for rare genetic diseases which require large database to find statistically important correlations. Fine. So if it is used in future, okay, so we can prevent diseases or prevent person from getting infected by diseases, and cure can also be found to different diseases. How did this help during the pandemic? In January 2020, at the start of the pandemic, Chinese scientist Yon Zhen Zhat sequenced the genome of a novel pathogen causing infections in the city of Yuan. Mr. Zheng then shared it with his virologist friend Edward Holmes in Australia, who published the genomic code online. It was after this that virologists, epidemiologists, and pharmaceutical firms began evaluating the sequence to try and understand how to combat the virus, track the mutating variants and their intensity and spread, and to come up with a vaccine. This information was also used to create diagnostic PCR machines. To enable an effective COVID-19 pandemic response, Researchers kept track of emerging variants and conducting further studies about their transmissibility, immune escape, and potential to cause severe diseases. Genomic sequencing became one of the first steps in this important process. Here, the purpose of genomic sequencing was to understand the role of certain mutations in increasing the virus inactivity. Some mutations have also been linked to immune escape or the virus ability to evade antibodies, and this has consequences for vaccines and vaccine makers. Okay, so more about this human genome we are exposed during the pandemic. During the pandemic, this came more to light. Over the course of the pandemic, the United States and United Kingdom scaled up genomic sequencing, tracked emerging variants, and used that evidence for timely action. Indian context, India also put in place a sequencing framework and the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomic Consortium, okay, in SARS-CoV. A consortium labs across the country was tasked with scanning coronavirus sample from patients and flag the presence of various variants known to have spiked transmission internationally. The bulk of this effort was focused on identifying international variants of concern, making out by the World Health Organization as being particularly infectious. Samples from international travelers who arrived in India and tested positive were sent to INSACOG for determining the genomic variants. As of early December 21, the INSACOG has sequenced about 1 lakh samples. It has also tasked with checking whether certain combinations of mutation are becoming more widespread in India because genome sequencing revealed which virus is more endemic and which is not. This is that. Okay. So Genome India, cataloging the genetic variation in India, reference Genome for India, National Genomic Sequence Project to sequence 10,000 Indians, capacity building and networking, training manpower to handle large genetic data set and other resources across institutions in India, resource for large and cheaper genetic studies, resources generated will help to build array and technology for large-scale cheaper genetic studies in India. Disease gene identification catalog all the genetic variations in Indian to help identify disease-causing genes. Then genetic basis for adverse effect and response to drugs. This study will help pave the way to understand why some people respond to some drugs and why some develop adverse reaction depending upon their genetic background. Okay. An initiative of Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India called the Genome India Project. In the latter stage of the pandemic, around December 2022, where over 90% of the adult population was already fully vaccinated and over one-fourth of the adult boosted, sequencing helped in target effective having infections. The Health Ministry urged state to ramp up sequencing to track every variant and the virus evolved by accumulating mutations. What is the significance of the Genome India project? India's 1.3 billion strong population consists of over 4,600 population groups, many of which are endogamous. Thus, the Indian population harbor distinct variations with disease-causing mutations often amplified within some of these groups. Finding from population-based or disease-based human genetic research from other populations of the world cannot be extrapolated to Indians. But despite being a large population with diverse ethnic groups, India lacks a comprehensive catalog of genetic variations. Creating a database of Indian genome allows researchers to learn about genetic variants unique to India's population group and use that to customize drugs and therapies. About 20 institutions across India are involved in the project with analysis and coordination done by the Center for Brain Research at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. The center's Department of Biotechnology notes that the project will help unravel the genetic underpinning of chronic disease currently on the rise in India, for example, diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases, neurodegenerative disorder, and cancer. Fine. So genomic sequencing can help in creating the treatment for these and checking from this. Okay. This is what about the Genome India project, its requirement, its advantage, and what is the progress by India in this Genome India project. Fine. What is going to the benefit to India by such a mega project. The second topic is an environment, how US is pushing a switch to electric vehicles. Context: the US announced new commitment in support of the country's transition to cleaner energy, aims to have 50% of all new vehicles cells be electric by 2030. Earlier in April 2023, the Biden administration proposed new tough vehicle pollution standard in a bid to promote the use of EV in the US. What are the commitments made by the USA? The new private and public sector commitments announced under President Biden's investing in America initiative. They are aimed at accelerating the growth of EV industry by increasing consumer demand, lowering cost, and promoting inclusion. The four-pronged approach includes EV fleet expansion, community charging, commercial and multifamily, consumer education and support, and providing tools and resources. EV fleet expansion. So this includes coordination with popular ride-sharing companies as well as EV component producers. For example, Uber has committed to reaching 400 million EV miles driven on its platform in USA by the end of 2023. Excel Energy and Colorado Car Share have committed to launch an electric car sharing program for underserved and high emission communities in Colorado by the end of 2023. On the other hand, Redwood Materials is committed to scaling the production of critical battery components in USA with the goal of powering 5 million EV by 2030. Community charging, commercial and multifamily. This covers commitment by company to add EV charging stations to make the facility more accessible to the public. For example, Span IQ Inc. has committed to triple the number of EV phone chargers installed by 2024, and Blink Charging has committed to invest $29 million to increase manufacturing capacity in Bowie, Maryland from 10,000 to 40,000 chargers per year by 2024. That means EV chargers will be more, which will be publicly installed for fast charging of the electric vehicle battery. Consumer education and support. This includes collaboration with non-profit organizations, events, etc. to educate consumers about the benefit of EV over conventional fuel-powered automobiles. For example, uh, Avanja EV has committed to deploy chargers and bilingual EV education in at least 1,500 low-income majority Latino multifamily housing communities and engage at least 4 lakh families by 2028. Climate Power has committed to educate over a million people about EV through its influence network by June 2024. Tool and resources, both private and public sector companies aim to use online training, saving prediction calculations, web portals, and other tools and resources to encourage Americans to switch to EV. Excellent has committed to offering a comprehensive fleet class electrification assessment service to help customer and business navigate vehicle electrification, create fleet electrification plans, and estimate total cost of ownership savings. National Automobile Dealers Association and Center for Sustainable Energy have committed to launch online dealer training in 2023 to help them accelerate EV sales as well as mass market EV adoption. Okay. The new proposed vehicle pollution standards, the US Environmental Protection Agency has proposed two new rules: multi-pollutant emission standard for model years 2027 and latter light duty and medium duty vehicle and greenhouse gas emission standard for the heavy duty vehicle phase 3. Okay. If the new proposed rules were accepted, the Environmental Pollution Action estimates that 67% of new sedans, crossovers, SUVs, and light trucks 50% of the new vocational vehicles like bus and garbage trucks, 35% of the new short haul freight tractors, and 25% of the new long haul freight tractors will be electrified by 2032, 9 years from now. Okay, that is the US target. The multi-pollutant emission standards seek to use advance in clean car technology to reduce pollution, improve public health, and save energy, save money through reduced fuel and maintenance cost. The project net benefits of this proposal range from 850 billion to 1.6 trillion between 2027 to 2055. It is also expected to avoid 7.3 billion tons of CO2 emission through 2055, equivalent to eliminating all greenhouse gases emission from the current US transportation sector for 4 years. So this is what the ambitious American EV plan. Okay, the greenhouse gas emission standard proposal, if accepted, will be applicable to heavy-duty vocational vehicles such as delivery trucks, refugee haulers, public utility truck, transit shuttle, school buses, etc. The tractors, such as day cabs and sleeper cabs on the tractor trailer truck, the new routes include stricter measures for carbon dioxide emission. The heavy duty proposal is projected to avoid 1.8 billion tons of carbon dioxide through 2055, equal to eliminating all greenhouse gas emission from the current US transportation sector for an entire year. The project net benefit of this proposal range from 180 billion to 320 billions. Okay. US historic emission record. According to an analysis by the Carbon Brief, the US is responsible for large share of historic CO2 emission since the start of industrial revolution at around 20%. So one country contribute around 20% to the greenhouse gas emission around the world. This is the American contribution, and that is why, being a rich country, it has been taken the responsibility to reduce the greenhouse gas emission also from its own side by launching different programs, and one among them is the introduction and heavy use of electric vehicles by America. And the president has promoted the use of electric vehicles, okay, public transport, school transport, trucks, and carrying vehicles, etc., to be run on EV by 2030. Then the next topic is the Earth Day. Okay, topic is the Earth Day. Okay, on 22nd April 2023, the 53rd anniversary of the Earth Day was celebrated. Earth Day is an international event celebrated around the world to pledge support for environmental protection. The theme of the Earth Day 2023 is Invest in Our Planet. Background: Earth Day was first observed in 1970 when 20 million took to the street to protest environmental degradation on the call of US Senator Glyder Nelson. The event was triggered by the 1969 Santa Barbara oil spill as well as other issues such as smoke and pollution polluted rivers. In 2009, the United Nations designated 22nd April as the International Mother Earth Day. Okay, and the Earth Day is now globally coordinated by the Earth Day organization, which is a non-profit organization. It was formerly known as the Earth Day Network, but right now called as earthday.org. The aim is to build the world largest environmental movement to drive transformative changes for people and planet. Is the aim of the Earth Day. What? Build the world's largest environmental movement to drive transformative change in people and the planet. It recognizes a collective responsibility as called for in the 1992 Rio Declaration to promote harmony with nature and the earth to achieve a just balance among the economic, social, and environmental needs of present and future generations of humanity. The landmark Paris Agreement, which brings almost 200 countries together in setting a common target to reduce global greenhouse emission, was also signed on Earth Day 2016. Other important day that we observe: 22nd March is World Water Day, 22nd April is Earth Day, 22nd May is World Biodiversity Day, 5th June is World Environment Day, okay, and Earth Overshoot Day. Fine. Earth Hour. Earth Hour is a wildlife fund of nature annual initiative that began in 2007. It is held every year on the last Saturday of March. They encourage people from more than 180 countries to switch off light from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Okay, so for their local time, it seeks to raise awareness about climate change and the need to save the environment. So for 1 hour, so people voluntarily switch off the light and all gadgets. Okay, and they remain in darkness. This is to create that awareness about the on the challenges to the earth and how we can save it from its extinction in future. Okay, so this is purely awareness creation where people of more than 180 countries they participate by switching off the lights. Okay, all the lights and in their home and include the street lights. Okay, so it is a request to all the people to switch off their domestic light for 1 hour from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. the peak hour. This is just to create awareness among them, right? Then the next topic is about the census of water bodies in India. the next topic that we are taking is about the census of water bodies in India. The Ministry of Jal Shakti at Government of India. So Government of India has created a newly Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay, and the Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India, released the first census of water bodies in India. The census defines a water body as all natural or man-made unit bounded on all sides with some on ancillary work used for storing water for irrigation or other purposes. Then what a water body where water is stored. Water body are usually of various types known by different names like tank, reservoir, pond and bondage, etc. A structure where water from ice melt, streams, springs, rain or drainage of water from residential or other areas is accumulated or water is stored by diversion from a stream, nala or river will also be treated by treated water body. The water body census was conducted along with the sixth minor irrigation census for 2017-18. The result of the census have been released recently. So state with most water bodies, highest is West Bengal. Okay. So West Bengal has the largest number of water body, that is 17 lakh 47,480, followed by UP, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. So if you compare that, Odisha, although geographically less area, but has a large number of water body, that is 1 lakh 81,837 water body in Odisha. Okay. So that is why, so the states having larger number of water body are also advantages in fishing. Okay, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, so they have, okay. In the state or union territory with least water body is Sikkim 134, Chandigarh 188, Delhi 189, Arunachal Pradesh 993. Okay, Uttar Pradesh, okay, water body lost to encroachment highest in Uttar Pradesh 15,000 have been lost to encroachment. Okay, water body encroached. Okay, that is in Uttar Pradesh, followed by Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, no encroachment water body was reported from West Bengal, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Chandigarh. Okay, so that is a great thing that there is no encroachment on water body in the state like West Bengal, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, and Chandigarh. There is no encroachment. But in other states, there is encroachment on water bodies. Finding. 24 lakh 24,554 water bodies have been enumerated in the country, out of which 97.1% are in rural area and only 2.9% are in urban area. That means water bodies are more in rural area than in urban areas. The data of water bodies up to the fifth minor irrigation census limited to village level, whereas the first census of water body cover all types of water body in both rural and urban areas. Okay, so in urban area, as the population is increasing, so the need or the necessity of water body was felt, and there is a census on urban water body simultaneously conducted this year. Okay, to know the number of water body in the urban areas. Okay, 59.5%, 14 lakhs 42,993 of the water body are ponds, followed by tank 15.7%, reservoir 12.7%, water conservation schemes, population tank, check dams, etc. Okay, 9.3%, lake 0.9%, others 2.5%. West Bengal accounts for almost 7.47 lakh and Sikkim the list 134 number of water bodies. West Bengal had the highest number of ponds and reservoirs. Andhra Pradesh had the highest number of tanks. Okay. Tamil Nadu has the highest number of lake and Maharashtra is the leading states with water conservation scheme. That means Maharashtra has launched a number of water conservation schemes. Okay. So West Bengal South Pargana 24 Pargana has been ranked as the top district having the highest 3.55 lakh number of water bodies across the country. So the 24 Pargana in West Bengal has the largest number of water body within its territory. The census also collected data on encroachment of water bodies for the first time 1.6% of water bodies were reported to be encroached, out of which 95.4% are in rural area and remaining 4.6% in the urban area. That means, so encroachment of the water body in rural area, because in rural area water body is more, so also encroachment is highest or higher in rural area than in the urban areas. Okay. Then coming to the long question answer writing. Okay. So the question is, compassion and tolerance are not a sign of weakness but a sign of strength. What does this quote mean in the present context? So this quote suggests that having compassion and tolerance towards other, even in difficult or challenging situations, does not make a person weak. Instead, it implies that showing empathy and understanding towards others, even those with different belief or opinion, requires a great deal of inner strength and emotional maturity on the part of the person. Okay, so in today's world, where power is considered as the weapon of the strong, this is to the extreme extent that one can dominate other, is the extent to which he or she is powerful. But this understanding of power has been shown to be inadequate and even misleading by the link of none other than Gandhiji, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King, who epitomize that they're called compassion and tolerance than power or physical strength. For Gandhiji, non-violence is the weapon of the strong. Whenever any situation of conflict arises, we have two options: either to lash out in anger and emotion, or to be cool and compassionate and try to work around the issue. In the contemporary context, the perception is that what the former response is often seen as assertive and desirable, and the latter is dismissed as being timid and weak. But before arriving at such a premature conclusion, we must pause and ask ourselves the utility of belligerent response, means violent response, and if we really need it. Most of the time, we would find that a balanced, tolerant, and sensitive approach works much better. Compassion and tolerance can be a strength as they allow individuals to understand and emphasize other struggle and viewpoints, which can foster stronger relationship and create a more supportive environment. These qualities can serve as a binding force to keep our society intact. Okay, by being compassionate and tolerant, one can handle situation in a more peaceful and constructive manner rather than reacting with anger or aggression. This approach can lead to more positive outcomes as it promotes understanding and cooperation instead of conflict and hostility. Okay, so by being compassionate and tolerant, one can handle situation in a more peaceful and constructive manner rather than reacting with anger or aggression. This approach can lead to more positive outcomes as it promotes understanding and cooperation instead of conflict and hostility. Fine. Then coming to the MCQs, got the following statement with reference to Human Genome Project. It was a event funded project that ended in 2003. We started in 1990. Okay, so that is not correct. Okay, so it not ended. First report published in 2003. Okay, it was the first ever attempt to sequence human genome. That is right. So only two is correct. Okay. Even the latest report published in 2023. So only two is correct. Answer is B. With reference to agriculture in India, how can the technique of genomic sequencing, often seen in news, be used in immediate future? Genomic sequencing can be used to identify genetic markers for disease resistance and drought resistant in various crop plants. Okay, that is right. So this technique helps in reducing the time required to develop new varieties of crop plants. That is right. It can be used to decipher the host pathogen relationship in crops. That is also right. So one, two, three. D the right answer. Consider the following statement with respect to the Genome India project. It is a sub-initiative under the Human Genome Project. It aims to form a grid of representative Indian genome after collecting 10,000 samples in the first phase of the from across India. Okay, and one is incorrect. Okay, so then two is correct. This would aid our understanding of the nature of disease affecting the Indian population. So 2 and 3 are correct. Answer is D. Then question number 4. Uh, CRISPR technology replicates the natural defense mechanism in some bacteria that use a similar method to protect themselves from virus attack. Okay. Feluda test for COVID-19 uses indigenously developed CRISPR gene editing technology to identify and target the genetic material of SARS-CoV-2 virus. A CRISPR-Cas9 technology enables genetics and medical researchers to edit parts of the genome in a very precise manner. The CRISPR technology can be used to control the growth of mosquitoes. So here one, two, three, four. All the four options are correct. Which among the following are gene editing technology? Talene, talene is talene is no doubt a gene editing technology. Zinc finger nucleus is an editing technology. Meganucleus is a gene editing technology. Channel is not. So 1, 2, 3 are correct. 1, 2, 3 means A is the right answer. Consider the following statement about the Coronavia Joint Work on Agriculture (KJWA). It is a landmark decisions under the United Nations Environment Program that recognize the unique potential of agriculture in tackling climate change. That is not correct. Okay, so then coming to it, it resonates the FAO's core mandate to eliminate hunger, food insecurity, and malnutrition. So two is correct. That means B is the right answer. Consider the following statement with reference to recently conducted water census in India. The report is the first census of water body released by the Minister of Jal Shakti. Yes, that is correct because Minister of Jal Shakti after its creation, the first report. The census defines a water body as all natural units only bounded on all sides with some or mandatory work used for storing water. For then Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana provides for restoration of water body. So here one, two, okay, three. All these are correct. So one, two, three. So D is the right answer. Prayag platform is by the Minister of Jal Shakti. Okay. Then exobiology exact like surveyor EELS is a snake like self-propelled robot often mentioned in news as with NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration of USA. Okay, Roscosmos is that of Russia, JAXA of Japan, ISRO of India, but it is with NASA of USA. A. Then which of the following statement is correct with regard to the term Jombay Bank? Okay, mentioned news. It is a bank that is practically insolvent but continue to exist through hiding bad loans on their balance sheet. Okay, that is correct. Okay, Zombie banks due to forbearance lending, so it is incorrect. So only one is correct. This way, so our discussion is over. So keep watching every day to update yourself on the development. Thank you for watching. Good to know. Go.